lakh for every yoni it is.
All right, 5:30.
Every what?
Yeah, it's going live.
Jai Baba. Nothing is real but God. Nothing matters but love for God. God is the only reality. All else that seems real is illusory. God and I are one. Meher Baba. Avatar Meher Baba ki jai. Thanks to beloved Baba, Jai Baba to all of you. We are almost at the end of this beautiful book, and we are reading the third, what should I say, what is it called? Third part of the book, which is not directly by the author Bal Natu ji, as we all know. These are just what he calls as gifts of the moments, and the thoughts were just scribbled, and now we are working on that. So let's start with, I think this is the one. We are on page number 142.
Oh, my heart and mind. Oh, my heart and mind. Have you not seen the face of the all-knowing, all-forgiving one? Then why do you not feel his presence in those whom you meet and in the things that you see?
I think we did that last time. Okay, go ahead.
Thread, O Awakener, help us to spin our lives prayerfully and weave a design for you gracefully, while always leaving the thread in your compassionate and loving hands.
Well, as I said, there may not be much of an explanation to this. These are all thoughts, random gifts of, thoughts. And so let's read it. O Awakener, help us to spin our lives prayerfully. Prayerfully would also mean in praise of the Lord, all the time remembering Him, all the time seeing Him, trying to see Him in others and in all other things. Help us to spin our lives prayerfully and to weave a design for you gracefully. In other words, lead such a life, live such a life gracefully that He is pleased with us, while always leaving the thread in your compassionate and loving hands. In other words, thread would mean like how a puppeteer, would make the puppets dance. So in the same way, let our thread of life always be in the hand of the beloved, so that He can make us live such a life according to His wish. That is how I would interpret. These are just small ones, 1 line, 2 line, 3 lines like that.
Discrimination. You stir the intellect so much, giving it full freedom, till it eventually discovers its limits.
I think we did that.
Then begins its real function, discrimination.
No? All right. I thought we had done this, but anyway. You stir the intellect so much. That means we are constantly on the intellectual aspect, giving it full freedom till it eventually discovers its limits. That means, I think we had done that. I remember saying that God is and Godhood begins where imagination ends. Intellect has its limits. And then Baba says that once the limit is reached, then you use discrimination, which would, in my interpretation, would mean that you use the function of the heart, the function of the feeling. Then begins its real function, discrimination.
Fill my being, O Awakener, let your presence fill my being, your smile, my heart, and your name, my breath. Let your light guide my day, your wish, my way.
Okay, and I can only just repeat and maybe put in a little bit of what I know from Baba's literature. Fill my being. we are asking the Lord to fill our being with His presence, with His remembrance. O Awakener, let your presence fill my being. Your smile, my heart. That means you smile and my heart is filled. And your name, my breath. With every breath, I take your name, and by taking your name, my breath is filled. Let your light guide my day. That means guide me as to where I should go, what I should do, what I should not do. Your wish, my way. In other words, let your wish and will prevail in whatever I do through the day.
A cup of tea on the moon. Your presence helps us to adjust and attune ourselves to inner revelations without making a show of it to others, as though we were drinking a cup of tea on the moon and it were an everyday thing.
All right. A cup of tea on the moon. I'm sure Rakesh would have enjoyed this tea. Your presence helps us to adjust and attune ourselves to inner revelations without making a show of it to others. In my interpretation, this would mean that Baba's presence within us all the time should be so sahaj, so normal, so natural, without making a show of it, so that the others around us may not even know the importance that He is always present with us. I would look at it that way. Revelations without making a show of it to others, as though we were drinking a cup of tea on the moon and it were an everyday being. In other words, a cup of tea on the moon is not something an everyday being, but we make it look as if it's such a natural thing, such a normal thing, nothing out of the way. In the same way, let your presence in my being open up it will reveal to us, reveal our relationship, our togetherness, our contact without making a show, without letting your neighbor, your next person know how deeply involved you are in your love for the Lord. I would read it that way.
The Awakener's abode. He is here. He is near. To Him, everyone is dear. So take up courage. Why fear? Don't worry. Don't tarry. He has taken over. Cheer up and call on Him and march on to the Awakener's abode.
The Awakener's abode. Abode we all know. The home. He is here. He is near. Baba has said that I am nearer to you than your very breath. You see. So in other words, we have to experience His nearness and His nearness all the time with us. He is here, He is near. To Him, everyone is very dear. Everyone is dear to Him. There is no one whom He condemns or whom He rejects or renounces. So take up courage. Why fear? Why do you fear? Don't worry. Don't tarry. Tarry would mean don't delay, don't linger, don't unnecessarily waste time. Don't worry, don't tarry. He has taken over. Now this taking over has a very, very important aspect. Try that out sometimes when things are difficult. You just pray to Him in your own heart and say, Baba, you take over. And people have found, we call it miracles happening, that he has really taken over, and He will do that He feels best for everyone under the circumstances. So here Bal Natu ji says, don't worry, don't tarry. He has taken over. Cheer up and call on him. Again, cheer is a very important ingredient in Baba's literature, where he always wants us to cheer up, to be cheerful, to be happy, and not make a long face out of it. Cheer up and call on him and march on to the awakener's abode. Abode is the home where he resides.
The fun clue. Your remembering me is the cause of my remembering you. The fun clue is I do not have to make efforts to remember you, but simply to be aware how lovingly and continually I am in your thoughts as you draw me closer and closer.
Baba has said this time and time again, that it is not your love for me that has brought you to me. It is my love for you that has made you to love me. In the same way, remembrance, we say that we are remembering Baba, but it is Baba remembering us so that we remember him. So that's how everything starts. The originating point is the awakener or Baba. The fun clue. Your remembering me is the cause of my remembering you. The fun clue is I do not have to make effort to remember you, but simply to be aware how lovingly and continually I am in your thoughts. We are all in Baba's thoughts, and that is why we are able to remember him and to love him. But simply to be aware how lovingly and continually I am in your thoughts as you draw me closer and closer.
Worthy. May I feel that every moment of life is a gift from you. May you bless me to be worthy of receiving it. May you guide me to make the best use of it in your loving remembrance and to offer the results in deep gratitude at your holy feet.
Well, it says worthy. May I feel that every moment of life is a gift from you. So this aspect of gratitude, every breath that we take, is a gift from him. If the gift is not there, the breath is not there. May you bless me to be worthy of receiving it, the gift. May you guide me to make the best use of it in your loving remembrance and to offer the results in deep gratitude at your holy feet. So here again, I think the sum and substance is to keep remembering him with every breath and keep offering to him the result of our daily doings, whatever that may be. First of all, to pray and beseech him to guide us so that we lead our moment-to-moment life in not only his remembrance, but in his pleasure, and at the end of the day, offer everything at his worthy feet, at his lotus feet. So that's the whole substance.
The awakener, synchronicity. I am synchronicity, manifesting creative life everywhere simultaneously in order to know myself through a variety of forms. Creation is the journey from infinity to infinity. Every finite part is destined to return back home to infinity. The blossoming of the living seed of love in each heart is the synchronicity of my wish manifesting.
Now this is as if the awakener is speaking, as if Baba is speaking. Synchronicity would mean that something which we may call coincidence but very meaningful coincidence, where everything that happens for a reason, for a very good reason, and it is as if it has been so meticulously pre-planned. It may appear like a coincidence, it may appear like an accident. Accidentally it happened, but it has been well planned and meaningfully planned so that the results come out in a very proper manner, the way it has been designed. Synchronicity. I am synchronicity, the Awakener says. Manifesting creative life everywhere. Everywhere, creative life is being manifested. Simultaneously, in order to know myself through a variety of forms. In other words, life is nothing but the synchronicity or the creativity of the Creator to know himself in various forms. After all, when we talk about, say, insects or birds or animals or human beings, it is nothing but himself experiencing as that form in order to finally experience himself as infinite, eternal, blissful knowledge, etc. So here, creation is the journey from infinity to infinity. It starts from the creation point and ends in the same point, but with full consciousness of the I am God state. The creation is a journey from infinity to infinity. Every finite part is destined to return back home to infinity. We've been doing this again, and there's no creature, I don't want to repeat the whole thing, which is not destined. Ultimately, everything in creation has to experience I am the Creator. Every finite part is destined to return back home to infinity. The blossoming of the living seed of love in each heart is the synchronicity of my wish manifesting. That means he has put the seed of love in each one's heart, and it will manifest, it will blossom at the appointed time. And that, Baba says, is the synchronicity. That is the synchronicity of my wish manifesting. So in other words, each and every seed of love that is there in each and everyone's heart will blossom at the appointed time. That, Baba says, is the synchronicity of my wish manifesting.
Imperfections. Sincere confessions with remorse, outpourings from your heart are necessary to find relief from your imperfections. When you confess your failings to me, it is only natural that initially you will feel guilty. But this earnest opening of the heart works like a needle that releases the pus from an abscess. Tears of confession wash away the heavy layers of self-identification and provide you with a healing that will offer you relief, making you feel lighter. The lighter your ego becomes, the deeper you dive into a fathomless presence within you. This is a way to experience the immensity of my love game.
Sorry.
What is lacking?
Sorry. Okay. Imperfections. The very fact that we are all imperfect shows that we are destined to become perfect. I would look at it that way, in a positive tone. Sincere confessions with remorse. And that is why Baba has given us the prayer of repentance. Every one of us is a mixture of so-called good and so-called bad. So-called. And it is all in the scheme of things that we are imperfect, and gradually we become perfect. At other times, Baba had said that imperfection is an illusion and perfection is a reality. Everyone and everything is perfect only, but because of our consciousness being associated with the form or the vehicle or the medium to know ourselves, we think we are imperfect. So I'm just giving you an overview. At different times, Baba has said different things. So imperfection, sincere confession with remorse, outpourings from your heart are necessary to find relief from your imperfections. That means remorse or repentance are very much an integral part of our growth, of our growing up. When you confess your failings to me, it is only natural that initially you will feel guilty. Now, this is the way the author has, what should I say? The author has assumed the awakener saying that you will feel guilty initially when you are expressing your failures or confessing your failures to me. But this earnest opening of the heart, because we have opened our heart to Baba, confessing our shortcomings, our attachments, our weaknesses, our imperfections to him. That means at least the positive thing is that we have opened our hearts. So here Baba says, but this earnest opening of the heart works like a needle that releases the pus from an abscess. There is an abscess, there is pus within the skin, and the needle pricks, and the abscess is removed, and you feel nice and light. So Baba said it works like that. You open the heart, and all your abscess is now coming out, and you will feel better. Tears of confession wash away the heavy layers of self-identification and provide you with the healing that will offer you relief, making you feel lighter. In other words, all these sins, attachments, weaknesses, whatever you call it, are because of false self-identification, isn't it? All the so-called sins are because of identification with the false self. So when you open your heart, and then all this will go away, and you will feel lighter, and you will feel the relief. The lighter your ego becomes, here I would interpret, the lighter your self-identification becomes. That means anything and everything that we do through the day, if we think that I am not the doer, honestly, sincerely, it is Baba who is doing through me, then to that extent, our self-identification becomes less, and to that extent, our ego becomes less. So here Baba says, the lighter your ego becomes, the deeper you dive into my fathomless presence within you. His presence is within us. He is not to be sought outside. We know we do run here, there, everywhere in search of Baba, in search of God. But Baba says that I am within. And the less your ego is, the more easily you will dive within my presence. This is a way to experience the immensity of my love game. So the way to experience his love game, the immensity of his love game, we need to shed our egos, and we need to dive deep within the abode, which is our heart, which is his dwelling place.
What is lacking? Take stock of what you have and what you lack. If there is no thought of lack, a fount of bliss opens within you. Then you will see me equally in the objects around you as in my form. Without losing discrimination, see all as inherently equal.
What is lacking? A lack is a sort of incompleteness. Why do we desire? Why do we want? Why do we crave? Why do we long? Because we feel that we are incomplete in ourselves and we need to complete that through accumulation from outside. Desires, wants, longing, craving, whatever you call it. So that is the meaning of lacking. Baba says, take stock of what you have and what you lack. If there is no thought of lack, that means if you have overcome the thought of lack, if we feel that we are self-sufficient, we have everything that we need to have. So if there is no thought of lack, a fountain of bliss, a fount of bliss opens within you. That means if you do not encourage, entertain, harbor the thought of lack, then the fount of bliss, fount would be fountain only, of bliss will open up within you. Then you will see me equally in the objects around you as in my form. That means, in other words, as if you will be able to see my presence in everyone and in everything, just the way as you now see and feel my presence in my form. In other words, Baba is trying to convey that I am in everyone and everything, and you must try to see me in everyone and everything. Without losing discrimination, see all as inherently equal. Here I am reminded of a story. Inherently, we are all equal. From the core of our being, it's all one. But the forms are different, the swabhavas are different because of the karma, samskaras. We have done all that. I remember a story because Baba talks about without losing discrimination. That's what a thought came to me. There was one spiritual aspirant who had gone on some training, some camp, some workshop, where a lot of these things were taught about Advait. Everything is one. The same God is in me, in you, in the stone, in the animals and all that. And after having run that course for a week or whatever, one champion was so drenched into that thought, that it's all one, everything is one, God is in everyone and everything and all that. So when he goes out from that campus, he sees an elephant coming over there, and immediately he remembers the Guru's mantra that God is in the animal, God is in the animal, God is in the birds, God is in the fish, God is in me. So he is standing there without without losing discrimination. So he lost his discrimination, and the animal just threw him out, and he was absolutely injured. So obviously he had just come out of the campus, so he's taken in a stretcher, and he meets his Guru, and he asks the Guru, but Guru, you said that God is in everyone, and I was trying to experiment with that, but it failed. How come? Guru simply smiled and said, this is what I had taught you. I had not taught the elephant. So in other words, we have to use discrimination in everything that we learn from Baba or from any other spiritual books. Discrimination is one word which we have to keep on. Many times people become very impractical. And I distinctly remember, I'm talking about many years back, 35, 40 years back, one of my colleagues where I used to work in a bank, he had attended such course, And after coming from that call, the Guru must have said that we should be very loving and kind and polite and treat all of it. He started, what should mollycoddling everybody. He started hugging everybody. He started kissing everybody. And finally, he had to be taken to a mental hospital. What I'm trying to say is there has to be a balance. There has to be a discrimination. So here Baba says, without losing discrimination, try to see that life is intricately one. Life is one. That, see, as we always say, there is that difference between equality and what was the other word which we used to say?
Oneness.
Oneness.
Unity.
Unity. Okay, unity and equality. See, unity is there at the basic level, at the floor level. But equality will not be there. Equality, why it will not be there? Because if every different person is made differently, he is wired differently because of the samskaric burden, bondage, whatever you call it. So, although intrinsically at the core level we are all one, there is oneness, but at the superfluous level, at the periphery level, at the practical level, at the materialistic level, bhautik level, you call it, we are all different. Sorry?
Gross.
At the gross level, we are all different. We appear to be different because of this samskaric wiring. I hope I am able to convey that we should not be sucked in by this. It is there, but in short, there has to be discrimination. You must know where to say no. You must know where to put your foot down and not just constantly say, oh, Baba is telling me to. There are many, nowadays at least I am seeing. It happens to me also sometimes when people are phoning me and saying that Baba has asked me to tell you this. It is Baba talking through me and you should do this and all that. And it could be true. I'm not saying no. But in my response, I will say the Baba in me is telling me not to believe that what the Baba in you is telling you. In other words, today, at least I have experienced this, many people are talking that language. That Baba is speaking through me and Baba is telling me to do this, telling me to tell you to do this. And my answer would be, when Baba has a direct line to me, why doesn't he tell me? Why does he have to tell me through you? Yes, Rakesh. Go ahead, Rakesh. Rakesh Gupta. Rakesh, you have a question? Okay, let's go ahead. Rakesh, you can always interject anytime you are able to put your hand down or you are able to unmute your... No, Ram has unmuted. Okay, Rakesh, go ahead.
No, I agree with what you said. I mean, there are a lot of people who do say.
Yes.
I always wondered, why do I need to via media, when I have a direct connection?
Many people tell me, phone me and tell me that Cyrus Baba has asked me the decision. I said, okay, I'm very thankful that at least Baba remembered me through you. But he can remember me directly and he can convey to me. And then in a joke, I would say, but Baba in me is telling me to tell you that, no, I won't be able to do that. And very politely, very lovingly, very nicely, without hurting anybody's feelings. Yes, Rakesh, go ahead.
Yeah, Jai Baba.
Jai Baba.
This is reference to the story you just narrated of the, man facing the element and not using his discrimination. I just want to understand that, is it something that, someone is not naturally or really is, and is just trying to be, or let's say posing to be? That's why they need the discrimination. Otherwise, if someone is really an elevated soul, probably for them, the discrimination is not there. For them, they can even stop the elephant, or, they,
yes,
they're above that.
Yes.
We are actually not yet there. We have not reached. Whereas, we are entrenched in all the duality and everything. Still, we are trying to say that, okay, we feel the oneness and this and that. So we are actually being hypocritical. That's why we need discrimination. Otherwise, probably it's not needed.
I agree with you, Rakesh. What Rakesh is trying to say is that it may be just a show, a dikhawa, a hypocrisy, or just an intellectual understanding, but not the experience. Because once you, as you rightly say, once you experience oneness, let me tell you, that's a very high experience, oneness with everyone and everything, then yes, the elephant can't do anything, because you are able to really peep into the elephant's consciousness and feel that it is the same thing as me, as I am. I agree with you, yes.
All right. All
Cool.
right. Yeah.
Thank you.
True optimism. True optimism is not dreaming of certain gains. It is truly thinking, if God wants me to have it, I will get it.
So beautiful. We talk about being optimistic. So here a thought is expressed, and these are just thoughts, random thoughts. True optimism is not dreaming of certain gains. You're very optimistic, you'll get this, you'll achieve this, you'll attain this. It's not dreaming. It means it is truly thinking, if God wants me to have it, I will have it. That means it is so much of faith, trust, conviction that if I am meant to have this, I will have it. Nobody on earth can take it away from me, because it is mine. I am destined to get it. That is the meaning of true optimism, according to the author.
Law of grace. I have given everyone their own karmic center of gravitational force, which determines how each one acts and reacts. You can call this instinct or intuition. This karmic center of gravity is connected with my presence and all of creation. If you ignore the laws of karma, you suffer the consequences, just as when you ignore the laws of gravity, you can hurt yourself. The gravitational pull of karma creates in you an attraction or revulsion towards others. Why else would you be so thoroughly attracted to one and bitterly hate another? If you sublimate your unwanted desires with my remembrance, the center of your being becomes more stable. This is the law of grace. Then you naturally react to all with love.
Very nice paragraph. There are various laws, and here Baba talks about the law of grace. We all know that there is something called the law of karma, karmic law, which works on the basis of the karma which we have accumulated in the past. It creates a certain energy, a certain synergy, a certain vibration, which either vibrates in synchronicity or in attraction and affection towards somebody, or revulsion or repulsion towards somebody. So all this is operating according to the law. It emits a certain energy and it works like that. And very beautifully what Baba says is, I have given everyone their own karmic center of gravitational force. That means each one of us are operating according to the gravitational force which we have ourselves created through our past karma, which determines how each one acts and reacts. Each one of us acts and reacts based on our past karma. You can call it instinct or intuition. You can call it by any name. Although in other discourse, Baba talks about instincts as coming from animal, whereas intellect is a human being and intuition on a slightly higher level. So we can give it any name. So instinctively you felt like doing this, or intuitively you felt like reacting to this. So it is automatic. It is automatic. the karmic center of this karmic center of gravity is connected with my presence. That means wherever we may be, whatever we may be, his presence, his being is always there. So this karmic center of gravity is connected with my presence and all of creation. That means wherever we are located, it is connected with all of creation. Mind you, all of creation, as well as the presence of the Lord, Meher Baba. If you ignore the laws of karma, you suffer the consequences, just as when you ignore the law of gravity, you can hurt yourself. In other words, in the discourses we have seen that proper understanding and intelligent use of the law of karma can make man master of his own destiny. Karma is the backlog. Karma is the starting point. If you do this, this is the result. But not necessarily you have to follow the result or harvest the fruits of your own making. You have a choice in every given moment to respond in a manner which is very different from a reactive action. The point is that. But in most of the cases, we only react and do not respond. Because there's a force, there is a dhakka-mukki, there's so much of force that in spite of our resolution after resolution after resolution, not to get angry, not to feel jealous, not to do this, we end up doing that because the force of karma is so strong. And that is why, his remembrance can make all the difference. When you remember him and when you beseech him, when you pray to him and say, please, this is my weakness, guide me, help me, save me. He does that. So here Baba talks about if you ignore the law of karma, you suffer. The same way as you ignore the law of gravity. And this is my common example. We call it Sada Suhagan example. That little Johnny fell off from the first floor balcony and he got hurt. And all the children ran through the staircase and came down. Johnny, Johnny, are you hurt? Did the fall hurt you? And Johnny was a very brilliant child, a very jocular. He said, no, my friend, the fall did not hurt me. The stopping of the fall hurt me. Obviously, as long as you are falling, it won't hurt. It's only when you stop the fall, it hurts. So in the same way, Baba says, just as how when you ignore gravity, you get hurt, in the same way, if you ignore the law of karma, you can get hurt. If you ignore the law of karma, you suffer the consequences. Just as when you ignore the law of gravity, you can hurt yourself. The gravitational pull of karma creates in you an attraction or revulsion towards others. That is why sometimes you vibe very well with somebody whom you hardly know. You just got to know him and you are vibing as if you know the person from ages. And some people you just cannot get along with, in spite of the fact that the person is very nice, very gentle, very noble. Still, somehow, the vibratory connection is not meeting. So here, why else would you be so thoroughly attracted to one and bitterly hate another? Sometimes we bitterly just dislike the other in spite of logically telling that what has he done to me? He has not done anything to me. Why should I feel disgusting about him bitterly? No, but this is because of the karmic not balancing out. If you sublimate, now this is the important paragraph, if you sublimate your unwanted desires with my remembrance, again and again, the whole book is about remembrance. That means liking, disliking, all that is okay. At one place it is very good. But if you sublimate your desires with my remembrance, the center of your being becomes more stable. That means now you become more stable. You do not get repulsive, over repulsive all of a sudden, or over attracted all of a sudden. You become more stable. This is the law of grace. Then you naturally react to all with love. You know, there was that, when we were small, there was that one doll, which was like a balance. So you just, hit the doll and it will go like this and then come to a balance. Again, go like, so people who are constantly going like this, they are imbalanced. They do not know how to work upon their law of karma. And so Baba says that if you invite my presence and my remembrance at the time of doing anything, then that whatever is shaking will become more stable. You will react to different situations more positively. If you want to use the word respond, you can say respond more positively. And then you will be able to love everyone because of the remembrance of my name in your being. Any question so far? No. Go ahead.
Find ways of loving me. Even in the most mundane actions of your daily life, you can find ways of loving me in everything by disturbing things. By disturbing things to the least degree. Correct. For instance, as you walk, you can avoid trampling tender young plants, or if you see a sharp stone in the footpath, you can gently throw it aside so others will not be hurt by it.
In other words, again and again, it is coming to mindfulness, awareness, remembering him, making him our constant companion. So here Baba says, find ways of loving me. There are many other ways. Women cook and they can always think I'm cooking for Baba. Or you do some stitching, I'm doing for Baba. Or you are doing jharu pocha. Oh, Baba is going to come in my house. He's going to visit me. So I should do it very well. So we can innovate, create ways and mean, whatever we may be doing. We may be traveling, we may be driving, we may be going for work, we may be doing business. We have to be so innovative as to find ways of loving him and of remembering him. Even in the most mundane actions of your daily life, you can find ways of loving me in everything by disturbing things to the least degree. Now that's a language, by disturbing things to the least degree. In other words, try not to disturb things at all. For instance, as you walk, you can avoid trampling tender young plants. Again, what does it mean? Being aware, being mindful, being able to see the being of all beings, which is Baba, in those plants as well. Or if you see a sharp stone in the footpath, you can gently throw it aside so others will not be hurt by it. In other words, I remember when we were young, I still am in the scouting movement. So where I used to have cub master, scout master, all that I've done. So cub, the motto of cub is to do a good turn every day. Do your best, do a good turn every day. It comes as a promise. So we would ask in our meetings, what good turn did you do? And 90% of the youngsters, cubs, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 years of age, they would say, Sir, kela ka chilka raste pe tha, tumne side mein kar diya. In other words, sir, that the skin of the peel of the banana which was thrown in the middle of the road, we just kicked it on the side. And this would be a very common, so-called good turn. And sometimes I would say, Baba, itne to aapke colony mein ya jahan rehte ho, itne kele khate hai kya sab log? Means in other words, what Baba is trying to say is, be good to others, try to do things which will not hurt the other people. Kela ka chilka is one thing. There are so many other ways, as Baba says, a stone or a rock or anything. Just do things so that you are able to stop somebody else hurting himself or herself.
Purity within. Trying to be like others is a distraction on the journey. Trying to be like others. How much time does one spend on reacting to others, thinking and feeling about what others have thought, said, or done? As long as you complain and vehemently comment on what others do, or even out of fun, peer unasked into others' lives, you bar yourself from the purity within. Rather than being interested or disinterested in others, focus on your own honest search to understand your life in relation to the boundless life around. It is this purity within that is truly worthy of your interest. When the heart is free from comparison, the mind reflects this inner purity. Drown in the beauty and grace. If you were to forget your petty self and drown in the beauty and grace manifested through creation, then not a moment would be spent in worry. The inherent charm of even a leaf of grass radiates the joy and wonder of creation.
Many of us, it is our pet pastime. What is somebody else doing? What is somebody else saying? Our focus is not on our own growth. Our focus is what somebody else is doing. I'm reminded of I've shared it here. Ahmedabad we know in Gujarat. They have this peculiarity to always try to find out what the others are doing, number one. And number two, whatever the other may be doing, how is it going to benefit me? These are the two pet thoughts in their mind. This is just a story, so take it lightly. If there is some Ahmedabadi on the group, don't take it seriously. Never take anything seriously. As Baba says, that only God is to be taken seriously, life is to be taken lightly. But the problem arises because we take God lightly and life seriously. So it is said that once, what is that?
Olympic flame.
Olympic flame. You all know Olympic flame was to pass through a certain lane in Ahmedabad. So everybody had gathered, all the people had gathered, and they can see that the person who is holding the flame is running, jogging, running, and the flame is going up and down, up and down, up and down. And it was quite some far off. So the small children over there is asking, Kaka, how much hai? Means, what is all this happening? What is all this happening? So when that person came closer, the Kaka tells that person, Thobo, yani stop, halt. So that fellow halts, Etekar, yani bring it down. That Olympic flame, bring it down. So that fellow, he brings it down. And then Kaka tells everybody around, Bidi Fugo. Bidi Fugo means light your bidi in that fire. In other words, I do not know what the other person is doing, but how is it going to benefit me is depicted here, that since the person is passing through my lane, let me take advantage of that by what should I call? By fucking my bidi, by lighting my bidi. So here, and then Baba here says that if somebody keeps on doing that, that is not considered as purity of the heart. You see, purity of the heart would mean that you are focusing only on yourself, not comparing, not criticizing, not backbiting, not slandering somebody else. So here, I think it's a very beautiful paragraph. Purity within. Trying to be like others is a distraction on the journey. We are not focused on our own attitude, aptitude, creativity, what am I good at? No. What is other doing? I'm trying to become like other. Baba says that is a distraction on the journey. Because each one, I also remarked, there are many people, even in our center, where they say, oh, I'm not, don't misunderstand my statement. There are few who wants to be deeply into meditation. Meditation is very good. Baba has recommended 8 chapters in the discourses. But all are not of the same metal, all are not made of the same way. So to emphasize one thing, oh, you can meditate. I cannot meditate, so I am no good, you are better. It should not be like that. Each one has some uniqueness, peculiarity, speciality that has to be discovered and exploited. When I say exploited, I mean in a positive way, so that it can be useful to us as well as to people around us. Trying to be like others is a distraction on the journey. How much time does one spend on reacting to others? Thinking and feeling about what others have thought, said, or done. We are wasting our time reflecting on what others have. There is a Hindi saying, sabse bada rog kya kahenge log. We are concerned about others. We debate about others. We talk about others. I remember once there was an article in the newspaper, something to do with politics, political article. And as somebody was reading it out to Baba, and some mandali, they started criticizing that political leader. Rightly, that is not the point. Immediately Baba stopped the person and said, never do that, because you are inviting his bad karmas towards you. So Baba has been so emphatic about not criticizing or commenting about what others are doing. As long as you complain and vehemently comment and on what others do, or even out of fun, peer unasked into others' lives, who's doing what? You bar yourself from the purity within. A very good sentence. I'd like to repeat this. As long as you complain and vehemently comment on what others do, or even out of fun, peer unasked into others' lives, you bar yourself from the purity within. Rather than being interested or disinterested in others, focus on your own honest search to understand your life in relation to the boundless life around. So try to dive or delve deep into yourself. Try to find out who you are and what is your relationship with the infinity which is abounding us. It is this purity within that is truly worthy of your interest. When the heart is free from comparison, the mind reflects this inner purity. When the heart is free from this comparison, the mind reflects this inner purity. Drown in the beauty and grace. If you were to forget your petty self, and drown in the beauty and grace manifested through creation, that means if you are mindful of what beauty creation is, of how graceful the creation is, then you will be able to appreciate the beauty in the smallest of the creation. If you were to forget your petty self and drown in the beauty and grace manifested through creation, then not a moment would be spent in worry. Then all your worry, tension will fly away. The inherent charm of even a leaf of grass radiates the joy and wonder of creation. So what Baba is trying to say is, I would interpret, you and you alone are responsible and accountable to God or Baba and Baba alone. It is purely between the Lord and you. Do not be wasting your time judging, evaluating, slandering, backbiting, commenting, complaining about what others are doing, because that, according to Baba, bars you from the purity within. Be focused on yourself and try to so-called, improve and realize the beauty of creation all around you. It's already 6:30. Anybody has anything to share, ask? Nobody. Okay then. Thank you very much. Thank you, Baba. I think there's only one page left. So maybe next Tuesday we should be able to finish this book and then we'll decide upon what we need. Avatar Meher Baba ki Jai. Jai Baba. Thank you, Baba.
Jai
Thank you.
Baba. Jai Baba. Jai Baba.
Thank you.
Thank you. Jai Baba.